Hi everyone, welcome to Shikara and Telangana Academy. So you know that at Shikara Academy we have launched TGPSC Group 1 Mains Test Series. Group 1 Mains Test Series. So here we are providing sectional test, subject by test and full length test. Okay. And what is the specialty of this test series is that you'll be having, as I told you, sectional wise test series, subject wise test series and full length test series. Okay, full length test. And your paper will be evaluated by respective subject expert and will detailedly evaluate your paper with uh, comments. And third thing is that for after each test will be uploading the model question paper, question and answer, and also will be uploading explanation video for the question paper, the test series. Okay, this is our, and test series will be flexible. You can write test according to your preparation. You can start with polity or you can start with geography or history. So all questions will be uploaded and the explanation videos will be uploaded as early as possible so that you can write test series according to your preparation time. Right. So as part of the TGPSC Group 1 Mains test series, I'm going to take an orientation class that how to prepare Indian and Telangana geography for the upcoming TGPSC mains examination. So this will be an orientation class for Indian and Telangana geography. So in the first video, we'll try to cover the Indian geography and we'll move on to Telangana geography. Okay, so before starting the orientation lecture, let me introduce first. So I'm Ankit Reddy. I've done my master's in geography from Usman University and also qualified for UGC NET for the assessment for examination. And currently, I'm pursuing PhD in geography from Usman University. And my subject area is the irrigation and agriculture in Telangana. So this will be a great help for you since it is part of our UPSC, TGPSC mains examination. Okay, so I have around 6 years of teaching experience, teaching for both UPSC and TGPSC aspirants. Okay, and coming to my interest, yeah, as I told you, I'm an online educator. I have my separate YouTube channel, Telangana Academy, where I will be dealing with the Telangana and Indian geography and world geography videos. So if you have time, you can go through it and check the fundamental concepts of Telangana geography and Indian geography. And I've also authored few books for the Telugu Academy and as well as the other competitive institutes. Okay, and this is my email ID, ankitreddy@gmail.com. This is my email ID. For any queries related to Indian geography, Telangana geography, you can drop a mail and within a 1 day, I will try to reply. Okay, this is about me. So now moving on to the orientation class for Indian and Telangana geography. So you know that for the TGPSC mains examination, you have 6 papers, right? First paper is general essay, and second paper is history and geography, history, culture, and geography. So in second paper, in third part, we have Indian geography and Telangana geography as part of our syllabus. Okay, so in third part of second paper, we have geography of India and Telangana. So where we have total 5 topics. So this is around 50 marks paper for you. You know that each paper carries 150, right? So there are 3 parts in each paper. So 50 into 3, 150. So 50 marks you have, for 50 marks you have geography of India and Telangana. And of course, in the paper of science and technology, you have disaster management. And in the paper of economy and development, you have environment development. So where there will be overlapping syllabus. So around 70 to 90 marks subject marks are related to geography. Directly 50 marks and then 30 marks in science and technology as disaster part and environment part. So around 80 to 90 marks area is our geography part, right? So first we'll try to cover the core part. So in the first video, we'll try to cover the Indian geography syllabus. and then we'll move on to Telangana geography. So total we have 5 topics. 2 topics, the number 1 and number 2 topics in the syllabus is related to Indian geography, and moving on to the third and fourth topics. The third, fourth, and fifth topics, the 3 topics belong to Telangana geography. Okay, so what you're going to do in this video, so for each topic, I'll be discussing what areas you need to prepare, what areas you need to focus, and for each topic, I'll try to provide a model question. So it can be a model question or the previous year UPSC question. How they will frame a question out of this topic. So what to study, what areas need to cover, and also will cover one PVQ related to the topic. Okay. So in between, I'll also explaining the content. So since you have qualified for prelims, you're getting a good score in prelims. I assume that you have basics related to geography. Okay, basics related to geography. If you do not have any basics related to geography, feel that you want fundamental concepts of geography, so you can watch Shikara Academy videos. So in Shikara Academy, I uploaded the fundamental concepts of Indian geography, world geography, and Telangana geography. So our mains, we have only Indian geography and Telangana geography. So you can go to my channel and watch these videos. So you'll get fundamental clarity related to these topics. Okay. So first, let's start with our first topic of our syllabus, that is Indian geography. As part of Indian geography, first topic is physical setting. Okay. So since it is clumsy, for each topic, I have covered the subtopics as well. So in the syllabus, they have not given the subtopics. And some topics are vague. So students usually get confused what to read and how to read and where the information should be gathered. So I have segregated each topic with subtopics, right? So moving here to the first topic, India, physical setting of India. So what you have in the exam, in the syllabus, they've just mentioned physical setting. So what you have to cover under physical setting? So physical setting means here you are supposed to read about the geographical location of India. Geographical location of India. That is the latitudinal, longitudinal extent of India. Okay, the coastline, in India's neighboring countries. Okay, and India's locational significance. You all know that India is a peninsula region, right? India is a peninsula region. On the west side, you have Arabian Sea. On the east side, you have Bay of Bengal. And the south, you have Indian Ocean. Okay, and in the north, you have the Himalayas. Okay, and you have the neighboring countries like Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, okay, Bangladesh, the maritime bordering countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives. So you have should know about the India's location and its neighbors. And you should also know about the major landforms of India, like Himalayas, plains, plateaus, okay, coastal plains, and also their significance. Okay. Along with that, you should also focus on the water bodies. We have, that we have 2 river systems, types of river system, that is the perennial river system, the Himalayan river system, and the peninsular river system, which is seasonal in nature. So you have 2, perennial or seasonal. So perennial is nothing but the Himalayan river system, and the second part is the peninsular river system. Okay, and within that you have Indus river system, Ganga river system, the Brahmaputra river system in the north, and south you have Krishna, Godavari, Mahanadi, okay, Kaveri, these rivers. So water bodies. And you should also focus on the climatic conditions. So here, physical setting includes the overall geographical aspects of India, where we'll be focusing on the climate, major landforms, and water bodies in a peripheral, in a bird's eye view. Okay, and you have to also try to interlink between the relation between the climatic conditions, socioeconomic activities, the physical factors like climate, landforms, water bodies, and you have to also study how this influence the economic activities in that particular region. You know that the northern plains, the Indus Ganga plains, are plain areas where the elevation is not more than 200 meters. It is a flat plain area blessed with river system, Indus and Ganga, and it is known for agriculture, right? And if you move to the Chotanagpur plateau region of the India, that is in the eastern part, It is rich in minerals, known for coal and iron ore steel industries, right? And if you move to the eastern coastal plains, this is region is also known for agriculture. So each geographical region has its impact on the socio-economic activity in that particular aspect. So you should have an overall understanding about India. So what kind of question you get from this region? As I told you, India has great climatic diversity, the latitudinal diversity, large extent. Okay, different type of landforms. You have plateaus, desert. Okay, the cold desert area, big mountains like Himalayas. Okay, the Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, Vindhya, Satpuras, and different type of climate. So we have vegetation. Okay, because of this, India is called as a subcontinent. India is called as a subcontinent, distinctive cultural region. It has huge population, and within the culture, we have diversity in languages. Okay, uh, the art forms, the scriptures. Okay, so because of this, India is called a subcontinent. So we'll be detailedly discussing about why it's called Indian subcontinent in the upcoming test series classes. So this is just an orientation class. So just observe the question, framing of the question, and what areas they are touching upon related to syllabus. So the first fundamental question, this is the most star mark point of this topic. So why is India is considered as a subcontinent? Why India is called a subcontinent? So because of its physical and as well as the cultural features, it's called subcontinent, and why and all we'll discussing in part of test series, right? Then similarly, they may ask you discuss the physical setting of India in detail, like highlight how the geographical location, climate, major landforms, and water bodies contribute to the country's diverse environment and socio-economic activities. Okay, so where you have to discuss about the one para dedicated. First, you have to start with the Indian diversity introduction. Then we have to move to the landforms. Then one para you will be discussing about the water bodies, the climatic conditions, and then you try to analyze how these climatic conditions or that geographical conditions of the particular region impacted the socio-economic condition of that region. Okay, so we'll be discussing these questions in part of test series, right? Anyway, so this is the first topic, physical setting, and the topic that you need to cover, the subtopics. Then moving on to one of the important, yeah, I was discussing about the subcontinent, right? Why it is called subcontinent, India's neighbors. Okay, why what are the cultural, physical, and historical, population, political divisions? Because all this it is called. So this is a broad picture. So for each question, we'll be discussing the star mark points and how to write the answer. Right. Anyways, then moving on to the next topic, that physiographic divisions. The physiographic divisions of India. The major physiographic divisions of India. See, don't confuse here between the physiographic divisions and the physical setting. See, in case of physical setting, we will try to understand the broad overview of India's geographical context and major natural features. Natural features includes the physical landforms, water bodies, and climate, all aspects. And when you're talking about physiographic divisions, it specifically deals with the landforms, the geological features, the landforms. Whereas in physical setting, we'll be covering the broad overview of geographical of all the natural features, water bodies, climate, and the landforms. Okay, right. So when you're talking about the physiographic divisions, there are 6 major physiographic divisions in India. You can divide India into 6 major physiographic divisions. The northern mountains, that is the Himalayas, the northern plains, okay, the Indo-Gangetic plains, what we call as, and the peninsular plateau, coastal plains, the western and eastern coastal plains, the Thar Desert, which is located in the northwestern part of India, and the islands. We have 2 island groups. One is the Andaman group and Nicobar group of islands, and Lakshadweep group of islands, and both of them are union territories. Okay, so in each topic, what we need to cover. So, for example, if you take northern mountains, that is the Himalayas, here you have to focus on the formation of Himalayas, how Himalayas are formed. Himalayas are called fold mountains, right? So you need to have basic understanding how these fold mountains are formed. Okay, for this you need to understand the concept called continental drift theory. See, in our syllabus there is no direct mention of world geography syllabus or physical or climatology, but you need to have fundamental concepts wherein you can enrich your answers for Indian and Telangana, because you cannot separate Indian and Telangana geography from the physical geography, right? So time and again you'll come across this topic. So if you have fundamental concepts, so continental drift theory, plate tectonic theory. Okay, so they may ask you to explain the formation of Himalayas in the context of continental drift theory, or they may ask in the context of plate tectonics. So you should have fundamental concepts to relate to it, and here. And they may also ask about how the Himalayas help in the formation of the climate of India, how Himalayas influence the climate of India, or how Himalayas influence the hydrology, the river system of India, and what is the diversity of Himalayas, how Himalayas impact the biodiversity of the country. Okay, so you know that Himalayas act as the barriers of the cold winds coming from the Central Asia. They act as a blanket. Okay, similarly, they also help in the formation of uh, the monsoons, and they'll not allow the monsoon winds to pass through India. So getting majority of rainfall in India. So it has a huge impact on the climate of India. And of course, the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus, these rivers originate from Himalayan glaciers. Okay, and it has a great impact on socio-economic impact on India, in the especially in the northern part of India. Okay, and the biodiversity, you know that the Himalayas extend up the elevation of 8,000 meters, the highest peak. So there are Shivaliks which are on 1,500 meters elevation, and you have the middle Himalayas, which elevation is around 3 to 4,000 meters, and you have the greater Himalayas, Himadris, which more than 6,000 meters. Because of this elevation, you have different type of vegetation, the alpine vegetation, the coniferous vegetation. Okay, and you also have different type of flora and fauna vegetation in this region. Okay, then moving on to the northern plains. So you know the northern plains, as I told you, the Indo-Gangetic plain, they are formed by the deposition of the Indus and Ganga river. The sediments carried from the Himalayas, they are deposited and formed into the northern plains. So this northern plains is rich in alluvial type of soil, depositional soil, alluvial soil, alluvial deposits. Okay, so since they are a depositional soil carried by the rivers, these sediments are rich in the nutrients. So that's why the soils are fertile in nature. So they support agriculture, intensive agriculture in this region. So largely rice, wheat, these crops are sugarcane are largely grown in this region, the Indo-Gangetic plains. So they are like greeneries for India. Okay. Then the third division, the Peninsula Plateau. So this Peninsula Plateau comprises of the Deccan Plateau, the Central Plateau region, the Chotanagpur Plateau region. Okay. Within this, the Southern Peninsula region, you have Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats. Okay. So this, if you when you talk about the Western Ghats region, they are rich in biodiversity. They are biological hotspots because they receive good amount of rainfall because of the southwest monsoon. So they have good diversity there. Many national parks, tiger reserves are located in this Western Ghats region. Okay, because since they receive good rainfall, it has good amount of forest and flora and fauna. And similarly, within this Peninsula Plateau, you have the Chotanagpur Plateau on the eastern side. So this plateau is rich in minerals like iron ore and coal. So that's why you find many iron and steel industries in this region, in Jharkhand, West Bengal, and Odisha. Okay. Then the coastal plains, the western coastal plains and the eastern coastal plains. So these western coastal plains and eastern coastal plains have great significance in agriculture, especially the eastern coastal plains known for rice cultivation. Okay, and the western coastal plains are naturally known for these harbors, fishing, the what you call shipping harbors. Okay, so important trade activities is done in the coastal areas because you have major ports in India like Mumbai port, Marmagoa port, the Wadhwa, the recent Wadhwa port. Okay, the Kochi, Tuticorin, Vizag, Kolkata port. So this is known for great trade activities, and of course, these coastal regions are also known for fishing, and these coastal plains are known for agriculture, especially the delta regions of Krishna, Godavari, Mahanadi, and Kaveri. Okay, so for whenever you read one physiographic division, you should also focus on their economic significance and what kind of challenges they are facing. Right. Then you have the Indian desert, the arid region, which is located in the northwestern part of India. So because of Aravallis, you see you have the formation of Thar Desert here in the northwestern part of Rajasthan region. So this region is an arid region, not suitable for agriculture, and you find here the sand dunes. Okay, and here and there you find the dirans, moving sand dunes. Okay, and dants and playas, the desert lakes in this region. So this region is known for salt production, and you also have a desert national park known for the famous bird here, the Great Indian Bustard. So your each geographical aspect, a physiographic division, you have to focus what is the significance of that and important flora, fauna found in that region. Okay, and here you find majorly thorn type of vegetation, like cactus like kind of trees are seen with thorns. Right. And then moving on to the islands, as I told you, you have two island groups in India, the Andaman and Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep group of islands. So they have great unique ecosystem and they are of great strategic importance because there is a concept of the territorial sea, contiguous zone and EEZ, exclusive economic zone. So these exclusive economic zone extend up to 200 nautical miles from the land. Okay, so since we have this Andaman Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal and Lakshadweep in the Arabian Sea, this Indonesian region, so you have apart from the island region, you have large territory, water territory under your control. So because of this, the islands of India have great significance for us. And if when you talk about the Andaman Nicobar Islands, they are known for the mangrove vegetation, tropical vegetation. Okay, they are of great diversity as well, and also they are known for the tribal groups like Orangs, Sentinelese. So they have great cultural importance as well. Right. So this is about the physiographic divisions of India. Then moving on to drainage. So in the syllabus they've just mentioned physical setting and physiographic. So I'm explaining what the subtopics and what kind of questions they frame also. Then moving on to the drainage. So drainage is nothing but the river system in the country. So as I told you, we have two major river systems, the peninsular river system, which is nothing but the Himalayan river system, and the seasonal river system, which is the peninsular river system. Okay, so here what you have to cover is that where does this rivers originate, in which states they flow. Okay, what is the economic, culture and economic, social importance of that particular river in that region. Okay, so rivers have great contribution to agriculture since they provide irrigation and industries as well. Industries also run on water, and these many dams have been constructed on this river for providing hydroelectricity, supplying energy to industries. And you know that in India, rivers have a great cultural significance. Like you celebrate Kumbh Mela, okay, Pushkaras on the ghats of the Ganga, Godavari, and Krishna. Okay, anyway, so these aspects need to be covered. And then moving on to most important topic, the river management, the issues related to the river management. You know that generally, let's take example of river Godavari. So river Godavari originates in Maharashtra, then enters in Telangana, then finally reaches Andhra Pradesh. So three states. So Maharashtra is upper riparian state, and here the Andhra Pradesh is a lower riparian state. So there is always issues. So that issues with the river sharing of river Godavari. Similarly, river Krishna originates in Maharashtra, flows to Karnataka, then enters Telangana, and then from then it enters into AP. So it moves to four states. So there is always issue related to water sharing related to Krishna. Similarly, you have the issue related to the Kaveri river, which flows in two important states like Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Okay, so since the rivers in India are travels in more than 2-3 years, 2-3 states, so the issue of water sharing. Okay, so you need to put special focus on the interstate water disputes. So there are 4 to 5 areas, like for as I told you, the Godavari, Krishna, the Kaveri, Mahanadi. So these are the water disputes rivers. So you have to focus on these aspects. Okay, and as I told you, the questions, they majorly focus on the socio-economic significance of that particular resource, either it may be mineral resource or river system or mountains. So there are high chances of asking socio-economic impact on that particular region. So assess the role of river basins in socio-economic development in India. Okay, so just focus on the question. So in the next upcoming test series classes, we'll be focused how to write the answer and how to start the answer. What should be the structure of this answer? Just I'm trying to give you the how the examiner can frame a question related to this topic. Okay, and India is well endowed with freshwater resources. Okay, yes, rivers, lakes, underground water. We have good and glaciers. We have good sufficient freshwater resources. But then we suffer from water scarcity. So here you have to address the areas why we suffer from scarcity. Because yes, we have water resources, but it is not equally distributed. There are regional disparities. Okay, underground water depletion. Okay, lack of water in infrastructure like dams and construction of dams. So where you are not able to use the potential water resources. So these are some of the issues we are facing. So because of that, we have water scarcity. So this kind of questions can also be asked. Okay, since the water scarcity is in news, cities are running out of water. So recently, Bangalore was in news because of the scarcity of water. So a year ago, it was Chennai. So cities are running out of water resources. So yeah, you can expect a question on water scarcity, especially the urban areas. Urban areas are experiencing the huge floods and as well as the drought. In dry regions, they are experiencing drought, and in rainy season, experiencing flood. So they might ask you the area that why cities are experiencing floods, and they may ask you to write the suggestive measures for that problem or an issue, right? And present an account on Indus Water Treaty. So as I told you, not only the Indian rivers flow through multiple states, so rivers like Indus flow through India and Pakistan. Okay, they are like Ganga, Brahmaputra flows through India and Bangladesh. Okay, so there are inter-country rivers also. So for one of that, we have one of the famous treaty on Indus River. So you know that Indus River majorly focuses Pakistan, but its tributaries like Satluj, Bias, Ravi, Chenab, they flow in India as well. So that's why it has a great significance in northwestern part of India and of course in Pakistan. So here they may ask you about these treaties also because in drainage pattern you should also cover inter-water disputes and international water disputes related to that river. Okay, so these issues may also impact the bilateral relations. Okay, so interstate water disputes is a common area between geography and polity. Okay, in polity you have to focus on interstate water disputes, the tribunals and all, and in geography you have to focus on which state this river is originating, what is the percentage of water that is flowing in that particular state, its tributaries, major projects which are constructed on that area. Okay, so this is about the drainage. So then moving on to the next part, that is climate. Climate, Indian climate, mechanism of monsoon, El Nino, La Nina, all these aspects. So first, what are topics that you need to cover under Indian climate? So the first and foremost thing, what are the characteristics of Indian climate? Characteristics of Indian climate. Okay, so the one of the major characteristic of Indian climate is it is a monsoon type of climate. So Indian climate is impacted by one of the seasonal wind called monsoon. Okay, so it is a monsoon wind which brings 84% of rainfall in the country. Okay, that is through southwest monsoon. June to October, India receives 84% of its rainfall during this period because of the seasonal winds called monsoon. Okay, then we have four typical seasons: the monsoon period, post monsoon period, or within that monsoon. So June to October, you have southwest monsoon period, then you have northeast monsoon period, summer, and for brief period you have winter. So you have four seasons. So seasons of India, and you should also focus on the characteristic of each season. What is the wind diversity, rainfall, okay, and characteristic of that season. Then regional variation in rainfall distribution and the temperature distribution. Okay, in India you have the, you can find the regions like the Jaisalmer, Gandhinagar regions in Rajasthan experience more than 50 degrees Celsius. Even Delhi this year experienced around 48 to 49, 50 degrees Celsius temperature. But at the same time, you have places in India like the Dras in Kargil region, which experience minus degree temperature, minus 20 degrees, 30 degrees temperature region. Okay, you have a region called Masinrab and Cherrapunji in Meghalaya, which experience more than 1200 centimeters rainfall. In same India, you have a dry region in Jaisalmer, which receives less than 50 centimeter of rainfall. Okay, so not even on then less, even 25 centimeters, less than 25. So you can see the variations in the country. So they may ask you to discuss about the rainfall distribution in the country or the temperature distribution in the country and factors impacting them. So factors which impact the rainfall is also the monsoons, physiographic divisions, all these aspects. Okay, vegetation, type of soil and all. Right. Then extreme. Indian climate should also focus on the extreme events like cyclones, how cyclones form, what are the factors that are responsible for cyclones. So India is in tropical region, so India generally experiences tropical cyclone. And where does the tropical cyclones originate? The cyclotropical generally originate in the Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, that is in the water body, tropical waters. Okay, how do they form? What are the favorable factors that are responsible for the formation of cyclone? Why intensity of cyclone have increased? Why you find more frequent cyclones in the Bay of Bengal region, and the disaster management activities, the pre-disaster activities, during disaster activities, and post-disaster activities, and what are the technology mitigation measures that we are using in addressing the cyclones. Okay, and we should also focus on the classification of cyclone, naming of cyclone, these areas. Okay, and as I told you, India experiences floods in the month of June to September because of the excessive monsoon. If there is excessive monsoon rainfall, we have floods. Okay, and if this water is not properly managed or stored, you will face droughts in the month of April, May, June. So these are drought period in season. So we have both the problems in India. Around 60 to 80% of land suffer from floods and droughts. Okay, and in extreme, because of the extreme weather events, you also experience landslides. Okay, so Himalayan region also experience landslides, but it's majorly because of earthquakes. Earthquake may trigger landslides, but in Western Ghats also experience landslides, but here the landslides are because of heavy rainfall in the period of monsoons. Okay, and the concept like heat waves. So because of the climate change, we are experiencing more and more heat waves. So these years we have seen great heat waves in, especially in the north part of India, Delhi and surrounding areas. Okay, so heat waves. So these extreme weather events also need to be noted here. Okay, and the climate change impact on Indian climate. Okay, like the altered monsoon patterns, we are seeing the altered monsoon patterns and monsoon breaks, the early monsoon or late monsoon, the El Nino La Nina effect, rising temperatures. You can see from the past 2 or 3 decades, increased in the frequency of extreme weather events like cyclones. The intensity of cyclone is also increasing. The number of cyclones that we are seeing in the year is also increasing. Why this is happening? What are the ways to address this? Okay, how it is impacting our socio-economic activities in the country. So these things need to be focused. Yeah. Now moving on to the specific topic, that is Indian monsoon. So Indian monsoon is one of the characteristic of Indian type of climate, right? Or a major part. So here, so you need to have a clear-cut understanding regarding what is monsoon, what are the factors that are responsible for monsoon, how the differential heating of land and water or the location of India triggers this monsoon. Okay, what is El Nino? What is La Nina? Which is good for Indian monsoon? What is Indian Ocean dipole? Okay, and this monsoon is highly volatile, that something which happens in the Pacific region may also have impact on Indian monsoon, or something which happens in Atlantic region also have impact on this region. So information related to the monsoons are important. You can expect one question related to monsoon. Either it may be the mechanism of monsoon, or how the El Nino or La Nina phenomena affect the Indian monsoon, or how monsoon impact the rainfall pattern in the country. So these are how monsoon impact the agriculture in the country, because 84% of rainfall is received through monsoon. So obviously monsoon will have a great say in Indian agriculture, and thereby agriculture, you know that India is an agriculture oriented country, so it will have impact on economy. Okay, so that's why you can see a question here in the screen. So what characteristic can be assigned to monsoon climate that succeeds in feeding more than 50% of the world population residing in monsoon Asia? So here you can also see the question, mechanism of Indian monsoon. Explain how it affects the climate and agriculture in India. Explain the impact of El Nino La Nina, Indian monsoon. How does this phenomena influence the agriculture output in India? So all these are interconnected, right? Just as no mentioned. So if you have understanding problem in the technicality of monsoon, El Nino, La Nina, you can watch my video in Shikara Academy, where I have detail explained about El Nino and La Nina. Okay, right. So same once again, analyze the causes of consequences of now dealing with the floods and drought. Analyze the causes and consequences of rainfall variability in India. Why there is rainfall variability in India? Why there is regional rainfall distribution difference? So if you move to the northeastern states, Western Ghats, Andaman Nicobar Islands, they receive more than 200 centimeters of rainfall. Okay, the central part of India, the peninsular part of India receives rainfall around 100 to 150 centimeters. And if you move to the northwestern part, the rainfall is much less than 50. So we have good wet regions, semi-arid regions, and arid regions in the country. And this because of distribution of rainfall. Why there is a distribution in the rainfall? Difference in distribution. Of course, it is because of the physiography of that region, the relief features, okay, the distance from the sea. All this impact the rainfall pattern. Okay, these questions will be detailedly discussed in our test series. Right. So floods, as I told you, in recent years, we are experiencing the frequency of floods in cities, like the cities like Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, they're experiencing huge floods. Why they're experiencing? So in the past history, there are no big evidences of having floods. But in the recent years, we are experiencing floods in these cities. Why? Because of the human-made activities, the construction of concrete constructions, okay, encroachment of lakes, deforestation, okay, lack of water sinking uh, structures within the households or in the free space. So all these are impacting the and lack of proper drainage impacting the floods. So obviously they will frame a questions from here directly why we are facing floods in this region. Okay, though they are smart ones in ITs like Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Pune, they are IT cities, right? But they are not enough smart to deal with this region, these issues. So they may ask you to write, suggest the lasting remedial measures to address these issues. Okay, and they may also see the floods instead of looking at it floods as a disaster. They may also see the aspect as an uh, sustainable source of irrigation also. So floods means what? We're having excess water. So this excess water can be regulated, can be stored, and can be used in dry period. So the excess floods water can be used for all weather inland navigation as well. Okay, since of course it's not possible in southern India, Peninsula Plateau, but it is very much possible in North India since they are plains. You can construct dams and construct canals and thereby use these canals for inland navigation. Okay, so they may interlink 2-3 topics in geography and frame a question. So that's why your fundamentals has to be very clear in order to write good answers. Okay, only this a kind of analysis will help you to write the different answer from others. Difference in the sense with good points and analytical aspects. Okay, so that was about the climate of India and monsoon. Then moving on to soils. Okay, so the high chance that they may ask about the major types of soils instead of asking the just to write about the soils, a particular soils of India. They may choose to ask only one type of soil. Let's say that they may ask, describe the distribution of black soils in India and their specific use for agriculture. So you have to discuss the formation of black soils, distribution of soils, and characteristics of black soils, and why these characteristics are suitable for but cotton crop. You all know that black soil is suitable for cotton, right? So you have to mention these kind of areas in this region. Okay. So describe the distribution of black soils in India and their specific use for agriculture. Okay, so these aspects, when you're studying about soils, make sure that you are covering all type of soils, their formation, okay, their characteristic features, and what are the crops that are suitable for this region, and of course their distribution, which areas they are found. Okay, and then so this diversity in the soil is because of the geology, climate, and topography of the country. We have rainfall variations, temperature variations, different geological structures that can be seen. Okay, and of course the topography, the relief features. So these things contribute for the different type of soils, and we have to also focus on the types of soil that are seen in India. And of late, the past 4 or 5 decades, so we are experiencing or coming up with this word called as soil erosion and soil degradation. Okay, so when you're covering soils, though they are explicitly they have mentioned about these issues, but you have to focus because they have mentioned soil degradation and conservation. So when they are talking about degradation, you have to prepare content related to what is soil erosion, how it happens, what is soil salination, what is water logging, how soil is getting chemically degraded because of the excess use of fertilizers, how water logging, the excess use of irrigation is affecting the leading to the salination of soil. Okay, how the excessive tillage, overgrazing affecting the soil erosion in the farming lands and the hilly areas, shifting cultivation. So these things need to be worked upon when you're talking about or reading about soil. And you should also focus about the conservation practices, like what is terrace cultivation, where it is practiced, what is contour plowing, okay, what is strip irrigation, what is organic farming, importance of agroforestry. So these things are some kind of the conservation methods. Okay, and when it comes to geography, there is no one book which talks about all these topics. Okay, so take one standard book. So basically, people usually read this NCERTs for fundamentals, and for mains concept, people read Cooler. Okay, so you need not to read the book from starting to last page. Only thing is that go through the syllabus, identify the topics, and root those topics on. And for the extra information, you always have internet. Then moving on to vegetation degradation and conservation measures. Now, what is vegetation? Vegetation includes nothing but the naturally grown forest is called natural vegetation. Okay, so socially grown forest is called agroforestry. Anyways, so when you're talking about vegetation, here you need to focus on the types of vegetation in the country. Okay, so because of the varied rainfall pattern, topography, and also the temperatures, we have different type of, and altitude, we have different type of vegetation in the country. So if you go to Western Ghats, northeastern states, Andaman Nicobar Islands, you find evergreen lush vegetation, right? In the central part of peninsular India, in central India, you find deciduous forest where trees shade their leaves in dry period. Okay, and if you move to the Thar Desert, you find thorn type of forest, the cactus type of vegetation. Okay, and if you move to the delta regions of Ganga, Krishna, Krishna Godavari, in Ganga region, you find Sundarbans, you find Koringa in Krishna Godavari Delta region. Okay, you find Kuddalur in Karnataka region, Pichavaram mangroves in Tamil Nadu. So you should have a good understanding regarding the distribution of forest. Okay, and here once again, when I'm talking about vegetation, they may interlink the rainfall pattern in the country and vegetation. They may ask you to write an answer how rainfall pattern in India is affecting the vegetation in the country. Okay, because one of the major factor which influence the vegetation in that region is rainfall and temperature. So they may ask you to analyze how the rainfall pattern in the country affects the vegetation. Okay, and then they may also ask about the degradation and conservation methods, since they have mentioned in the syllabus how this vegetation is getting degraded. Okay, you all know it is because of major deforestation, and within deforestation, why? How deforestation has been done? It is because of shifting cultivation, overgrazing, okay, forest fires, these things. One of the reason. One more reason is that major problem is the breaking up of habitats, fragmentation of vegetation. So this fragmentation of vegetation is also affecting the degradation, and because of this, there is huge habitat loss for fauna, flora and fauna, especially the fauna. And once again, it is leading to the wildlife degradation or extinct of many animals. Okay, and this degradation is also because of the invasive species and climate change. So these things need to be focused upon. And you should also focus on the conservation measures for the vegetation. How this conservation is done in India. Usually it is done through protected areas, the national park, biodiversity hotspots, the wildlife sanctuaries, okay, tiger reserves. Also include forest in that, right? So protected areas, afforestation activities, community participation. These things are the conservation methods. So these things. So when I talk about community participation, India is known for this community participation. You have the Chipko movement, the Silent Valley movement, okay, Narmada Bachao, and all these are environment movements in the country. So you have to have a good understanding regarding this movement so that they may not directly ask about this social movement, but you can use these points writing in society answers or in geography when you're trying to put a point related to community participation. Okay. So here are some questions here you may get. As I told you that forests in this region in India are getting degraded, especially when you talk about the mangroves. Okay, the Sundarbans, the Pichavaram, the Koringa, Hazarika mangroves near Narmada Tape region. So these mangroves have great significance in the water filtration, protecting us from cyclones and tsunamis, and they have great um, ecological diversity. Okay, high productive region since it is between land and water. But of late, because of the exploitative activities of the human beings, the anthropogenic activities like fishing, cultivation, okay, the aquaculture activity, since they have medicinal plants, they have been cut down in this one. So these are disturbing the ecological activity. So they may frame a question like this: discuss the causes of depletion of mangroves and explain their importance in maintaining coastal ecology. So you have to talk about the depletion, and then you have to talk about the importance of mangroves. And since you should also focus on the conservation measure. Okay. Now the government of India has come up with a scheme called MISTI. Okay. MISTI scheme is related to the protection of mangroves. So should also focus on what government is trying to do address these conservation issues. Then examine the status of forest resources of India and its resultant impact on climate change. So here they have interlinked these two areas, the forest resources and climate change. Okay. The second question also, discuss the rainfall pattern and correlate it with spatial distribution of natural vegetation. So here they are asking you to correlate the rainfall pattern in the country with the spatial distribution of natural vegetation. Since rainfall is one of the major factor affecting the type of vegetation that is seen in that region. Like this. Then wildlife, degradation and conservation measures. Okay, so you know that India is home to diverse wildlife. You have the Royal Bengal tiger in the Sundarbans, great elephants in the Periyar National Park of Kerala. You have great rhinos in Assam. Okay, and the Asiatic lions in Gir National Park of Gujarat. So these are great flagship species that are seen in India wildlife. Okay, and India also have a rich avian diversity because of thanks to the number of wetlands we have, the forest and grasslands that you can see in India. So because of that, you have a great avian diversity as well. And you also have the marine life. You have the Gangetic dolphins in the river Ganga, and you have the sea cows in the marine region, coral reefs in the Gulf of Mannar, Gulf of Kutch. This region, we have great coral reefs in Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep. You find coral reefs in the country. So we have a great flora and fauna diversity in the country, in vegetation as well as wildlife. So that's why, since they are part of our great culture and diversity of the country, we need to protect them. So, but of late, because of the encroachment of human activities in the forest area, the flora and fauna is losing their habitat loss. Okay, poaching, illegal activities, illegal trade, and human wildlife contact. Okay, these issues are degrading the wildlife habitat. Okay, so it's on us to conserve this areas, and India has been quite successful with its projects like Project Tiger, Elephant, where we are able to uh, increase the number of species the number of tigers in the country. It's a success story. So we have to take inspiration out of this project and work on the conservation methods of wildlife. So we have around 106 national parks, more than 500 wildlife sanctuaries, 54 plus tiger reserves. All these are the protected areas to protect the wildlife and vegetation in that region. Okay, and there are wildlife acts also. So we need to have a special focus on this area since it is important for geography and environment. Okay, so one question for this model question: identify and discuss the factors responsible for diversity of natural vegetation in India. Assess the significance of wildlife sanctuaries in rainforest regions of India. So you need identify and discuss the factors responsible for diversity in natural vegetation. Why in India we have natural vegetation? Just now I told you, because of the rainfall pattern, temperature difference, relief features, types of soil. So we have different natural vegetation. And assess the significance of wildlife sanctuaries in rainforest regions of India. So here he is talking about the wildlife sanctuaries in rainforest regions of the India. You are asking the significance of wildlife sanctuaries in rainforest regions, especially in the Western Ghats, northeastern states, and Andaman. This is how the entering 2-3 topics. So you cannot leave any topic in mains. In prelims, you have choice. You can leave because it's not a scoring area. But here, each question counts in mains. So you need to be thorough with all the topics. Okay. So yeah, we'll be covering all these topics in mains. You need to worry. So for both Indian and Telangana geography, we have around 50 to 70 questions covering all the topics, and definitely questions will be coming from this area because we'll be covering static part as the current issues. Okay, right. So there is one of the topics. So here, what topics we have covered? Physical setting, physiography, drainage, climate, monsoon, El Nino La Nina, floods and drought, vegetation, wildlife degradation, and conservation methods. Now we'll move on to the major minerals and energy resources. What topics we need to cover as part of this? Okay, major minerals and energy resource distribution and conservation. So here, the major minerals, what are the major minerals that you see in India? It is coal, iron ore, bauxite, and limestone. So these mineral resources are rich in the country, and they contribute for the great industrial development in the country. Coal, iron ore, iron and steel industries, limestone for cement industries. So these are the major industries, not just for mining activities, but also for industrial growth in the country. Okay. So we need to use them sustainably and efficiently. So for that, we need an efficient extraction techniques, recycling method, and strong legislation and regulation for over exploitation, and proper research and development for efficient use of these resources and as well as extractions. Then moving on to the energy resources, coal has been the great resource of energy for the country from past 2 centuries. Even today, India is greatly dependent on coal for energy. Though it is not good for the environment, still we are dependent on this because we cannot abruptly go to the solar or wind energy directly. So it is a process. So yes, we are doing good in solar energy and wind energy, but still we are greatly dependent on coal, and India is good resource of coal. So here, when you talk about minerals, we should focus on distribution of these minerals. Okay, distribution of minerals. So they may directly frame a question to discuss about the distribution of coal reserves in the country. So we have to write that, or iron ore, this thing. So energy resources, coal. Coal is abundant in India. Of course, it is not of the Carboniferous period. It is not the anthracite, but majorly found you find bituminous type of coal. So oil and natural gas, India is not rich in oil, but yeah, we have good substantial amount of natural gas, especially the KG basin and all. Renewable energy, nuclear energy, these topics comes under energy resources. Okay. Then non-conventional energy. So generally solar, wind, hydro, biomass are considered as non-conventional energy. Conventional energy is your coal energy. These are all non-conventional. So they may ask about the prospects of solar energy for India, or they may ask the disadvantages and advantages of solar energy, wind energy in the country, or they may talk about the ask about the nuclear energy, about the potential of harnessing the non-conventional energy sources in the country. So they may frame a questions related to this area. Okay. Or they may take a specific region, discuss the natural resource potential of Deccan Trap, Chotanagpur region, or they talk about the Chhattisgarh or Orissa, these regions. Okay. Or they may interlink the geography and economy part, that despite India is being one of the countries of Gondwana land, oldest landmass, its mining industry contributes much less to gross GDP. Though we have good resources in the country, but we are not able to contribute, mining is not able to contribute to the greater part of gross GDP. Why? 2 points I have here. We have to discuss about the mineral resources, and we also address the issues why we are not able to, why mining is not able to contribute to GDP. Okay. Land acquisition, mining issues, okay, awareness of people, efficient methods, technology, all these things, policy formulation, all these things comes into picture when you write this answer, right? Then energy crisis, role of non-conventional energy resources. So what are the energy crisis? Why you're facing this energy crisis? So India faces, what are the challenges that you are facing related to energy in the country? So India faces challenges such as energy security. We are facing energy security because one thing, we are not rich in oil. So we are greatly dependent on oil for energy resource in the energy security in the country. Of course, we have coal, but coal is of not great quality. Okay. So since it is not, we do not have oil deposits, we are importing it. Okay. And what we are importing is fossil fuels, and they will have environmental degradation. Okay. And there is still in India, there is huge divide between the electricity supply, inadequate energy supply between urban and rural areas. Still, you can find the villages in the country where they are not able to get the sufficient electricity. Okay, so that's why we are moving to non-conventional energies in the country, so that we will reduce our imports. Okay, reduce in environmental degradation. Okay, and have a great energy security. So that's why we are focusing on solar energy, wind energy, okay, biomass, and hydro, because they are environment friendly, and they will provide us energy security, and thereby, and they also help in reducing our impacts or reducing our balance check exchequer, and also protect us or the environment. Okay. So here the questions, what kind of questions I can frame? Examine the potential of wind energy in India and explain reasons for limited spatial spread. So examining the potential of wind energy. So they may directly ask about wind energy, or they may ask about the potential of solar energy, or they may ask the potential of biomass energy. Okay. So examine the potential of wind energy in India and explain the reasons for their limited spatial spread. Okay, what is the potential? There is potential. India, we have around 60 gigawatt of potential to produce wind energy, but we have concerns in land acquisition, forest areas. There is a problem with animal conflict. Okay, technology, all these thing issues. Then India has immense potential for solar energy, though there are regional variations in development. Elaborate. So here policy factors come into picture. So each question will be detailed discussing our test series program. For each topic, we will be discussing 2 to 3 questions, which are potential areas for our examination. Okay. And just now we were discussing that in spite of adverse environmental impact, coal mining is still inevitable for development. Why? Because as I told you, we have good coal resource and we have less oil resource. And slowly we are growing in solar energy, hydropower, and biomass energies. We cannot abruptly stop coal since it has a great contribution for industrial sector. So slowly we are reducing our carbon footprint. Okay, and here they are asking on second question they are asking about the prospects of atomic energy. So you know that there is scarcity of fossil fuels. In the near future, we are going to experience this. So the atomic energy is gaining more significance in India. So discuss about the raw material required for the generation of atomic energy. So here are talking about the atomic energy, that is uranium, thorium. Okay, distribution in the country and world. So this kind of question can be framed from this area. Okay. Then role of non-conventional energy resources, mitigating energy resources. So what are the role of non-conventional energy resources in diversifying India's energy mix or reducing the dependency on fossil fuels? How it help in mitigating challenge, climate change? What are the government initiatives? So Ujjwala Discom scheme for to reduce the distribution losses. Okay, and we are also focusing on the technological advancement to enhance the efficiency of energy transmission production, both from the conventional and non-conventional sources. So these things need to be studied under energy crisis and the role of non-conventional energy. So apart from discussing the topic, I'm also giving you the pointers, what areas need to be covered. Okay, I hope it helps you in your preparation. And our test series, definitely we're going to discuss all these questions in detail with proper content. Okay, then moving on to the marine resources and economic significance. So you know that India has around 7,556 square kilometer coastline. So it has a huge potential in developing blue economy. Okay, huge potential in fishing. Okay, minerals and energy, because the KG Basin, okay, the Gulf of Kutch, Gulf of Kambar, Mahanadi, these regions which are in the coastal areas are known for minerals and energy resources, right? Especially the oil, natural gas. Tourism and recreation. Since it has a good long coastline, you have fine beaches in both on the western and eastern coastal plains, which attracts tourism. And transport and trade. Okay, so you know the world's major trade is done through sea routes, right? By ships. Since India has a great potential, 9 states of India have the coastline, which are actually the industrially rich states. Most of them are industrially rich states, so they can export to international market. Okay, so this is our potential of our coastline. Okay, so in this light, they are framing. There is a one question that defining blue revolution. Explain the problems and strategies of pisciculture development in India. So exclusively they are asking about pisciculture in the country. Okay, but first they are asking to define the blue revolution, explain the problems and strategies related to pisciculture. Similarly, they may ask about the trade transport. Okay, or they may ask about the minerals and energy related to this area. Okay, discuss the economic importance of ocean resource of India and threats being faced by this resource. So what are the economic importance? So we have this economic importance, and what are the threats we are facing? Oil spillage, okay, loss of coral reefs, mangroves, okay, marine pollution, which is affecting the fishing, over exploitation, illegal or unnoticed exploitation. All these are the problems in this we are facing, right? Overfishing, pollution, climate change, the ocean acidification, illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. All these are the challenges we are facing. So for each topic, potential challenges and what are the measures. So this should be your structure. Whenever preparing any topic, you have to make notes related to the potential, what we have, okay, what are the challenges we are facing related to that, and what we are trying to, what is the government measures that we are doing to do, and suggest measures for addressing that issue or problem. Okay, these need to be covered for each and every topic when you're talking about geography. Okay, and conservation measures also. Like as I told you, the marine protected areas, just like we have the protected areas, national parks and wildlife sanctuaries, we also have the marine protected areas. The Gulf of we have 8 national parks in the marine region. International cooperation, since water bodies are between two countries, international cooperation, collaboration, research and monitoring, regulation and enforcement. So these will help in conserving the marine resources. And then in the syllabus, we have a special topic that is mentioned there too. Exclusive economic zone. So what is exclusive economic zone? So it is nothing but the according to UNCLOS, the EEZ, exclusive economic zone, extend up to 200 nautical miles, 370 kilometers from the coastline. So coastline to 200 nautical miles. This is called exclusive economic zone. So in this region, the particular country gets the rights over the living, non-living, responsibility in managing the conserve, especially the territorial regions. We have absolute rights. So as you move from territorial region to exclusion, the rights get done. But of course, the environment protection, scientific research can be done in that region. Okay, so this India, since it has a 7,500 more than 7,516 kilometers of coastline, so extended area can be seen in this region. Also, we have Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep Islands. So these region extension also helps in security purpose, the naval power in the Indonesian stronghold in this region, and of course the scientific research and environmental protection activities can also be done. Okay, so in this slide there can be a question like discuss the potential threats which this vast EEZ could be exposed to, examine how it would impact India's socio-economic development. Okay, these aspects you can be discussed in this region. So how it will contribute for India's economic development and challenges need to be addressed for this question. Okay, then the next topic is water resources, availability, problems of interstate water sharing, and conservation methods. So when you talk about water resource, what areas need to be covered? Two things. One is the surface water, which includes the rivers and lakes. Then you have groundwaters, basically the aquifers, and the rainwater harvesting technique. So in India, many areas you have traditional harvesting techniques of water resources. So when you talk about water resources, surface water, groundwater, and rainwater harvesting. And you should also talk about the, should also make notes about the availability of the fresh water in the country, in lakes, rivers, glaciers, and all. And groundwater. So you should also focus on the groundwater depletion and all. Then, interstate river water disputes. So as I told you, many rivers in the country flow through more than 1 or 2 states. Okay, so the origin state is upper riparian state and the next lower states are lower riparian state. So there is always conflict between water sharing issue between these things. So Godavari Krishna river dispute between Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Kaveri water dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Okay, so we have water Mahanadi river dispute. So there is river disputes in the country and there is also mechanism to resolve them. You have tribunals for this and boards, river water boards for this. So as I told you, the river water disputes is the geography and polity topic, both. So in geography, you have to focus on the upper riparian, lower riparian state tributaries, dams and all. And in polity, you have to work on the tribunals and their verdict. Okay. So we should focus on the allocation inflows. The conflict arise over water allocation, drinking water supply, industrial usage and all, legal framework. And how we are resolving it through tribunals and how far they are working and measures for that. And what conserving the water resources, obviously the rainwater harvesting, reusing and recycling, efficient irrigation technique like drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, Okay, so there is a scheme for this drip irrigation, this Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Okay, strictly implementing the legislation for groundwater regulation using technological interventions in water management through remote sensing, GIS. Okay, and investing technology on desalination. And whenever you mention about the conservative measures, either about forest, wildlife, water, common resources, you should always mention about the community participation, and you have to give examples, success stories of that. Okay, so in the water resource and conservation measures topic, you can expect a question like the following ones. The ideal solution of depleting groundwater water resources in India is water harvesting system. So ideal solution for depleting groundwater, you know that we are experiencing groundwater depletion almost in all states, especially Punjab, Haryana, this region, tubewell irrigation, groundwater is getting depleted. Okay, so the ideal solution for depleting groundwater resources in India is water harvesting system and how it can be made effective in urban areas. So here you have to focus on the rainwater harvesting system. How can they can address the urban areas droughts. Okay. Next question: in what way micro watershed development projects help in water conservation in drought-prone areas? So how the micro watershed development programs can help the water conservation in drought-prone areas and semi-arid regions. So whenever you talk about water resource, you have to study about this. You have to study about water resources and conservation methods and examples set by the communities in uh, micro watershed development. Okay. Then what is water stress? How and why does it differ regionally in India? So what is water stress? So stress is nothing but that is scarcity, right? So why we are having the water stress in the country and how it is differing regionally. Okay. And very fundamental point is that you all know that the rainfall distribution in the country is not even, it is uneven. Okay. We have different type of topography affecting the orographic rainfall concept. Okay. Uh, the rivers, the North Indian rivers are perennial, the southern rivers are seasonal. Okay, so we have these variations in the country. Okay, and this water stress is different in rural to urban areas also. In rural areas, comparatively, their water stress is less, but in urban areas, it is high because of over exploitation and increasing in the population, rapid urbanization. So you have to address all these issues in your answer. Okay, so in our test series, we'll be detailedly discussing about answers for each and every question. You need not worry. This is just an orientation class. So just observe what areas need to focus and how questions can be asked from that particular question. Okay. Yeah. Right. Most important topic. We can expect this question in the examination and the water resources. That is, though they are not mentioned explicitly in the syllabus, but you always have this implicit topic when you're talking about rivers. The interlinking of rivers can provide viable solutions to multidimensional interrelated problems of droughts, floods, and interrupted navigation. Critically examined. So here, how interlinking of rivers? You know that in the last, yeah, the penultimate budget of the 16th Lok Sabha, they talked about the interlinking of rivers, Kane and Betwa. Though the budget allocation were around 50,000 crores. Okay, so definitely this area can be a question, right? So how interlinking of rivers can help controlling droughts, floods, and also help in navigation. So these three things need to be addressed in one question, critically examined. Okay. So each topic in geography is interlinked. You cannot skip any topic because if you skip a particular topic in the examination, you can actually skip in prelims because you can be choosy. If you're strong at 3 to 4 subjects, you can get through. But in mains, every question is important. So conceptual clarity is must when you write answers. Okay. Right. So by this, we have completed the first topic of Indian geography, the first area. So you can see how vast it is. Okay, this thing. Now we are moving to the second topic, agriculture. So since it is vast, I'm explaining in detail. Uh, Segregated the topics into two videos. So first we are discussing Indian geography, and the next video will discuss Telangana. Right. Next, second topic of this syllabus, agriculture and irrigation. So what topics that you need to cover in this agriculture and irrigation topic? So agriculture and irrigation, first topic, you need to cover the major food crops of the country. What are the major food crops of the country? Rice, wheat, millets, and pulses. Okay. So what you need to cover? What are the climatic conditions that is suitable for the growth of these crops? Types of soil. Okay. Varieties of the crop that are grown, and the cropping patterns. Then you also focus on major non-food crops in the country that are grown. That is cotton, sugarcane, oilseed, and jute. So once again, distribution of these crops, climatic conditions, and the challenges that are facing in this cultivation of these crops. Okay, you should also focus on the agroclimatic regions. So based on the climate, types of soil, topography, you can divide India into several agroclimatic regions. Okay, so what type of soil you have, climate that will region experience, topography. For example, in northwestern part of India, it is more suitable for wheat, rice, sugarcane, and cotton. So that's why they are largely grown. Coming to the Deccan Plateau region, it is more suitable for millets, oil seeds, and pulses, coming because of their rain availability of rainfall. If we move to the coastal plains, especially the eastern coastal plains are known for rice cultivation. The western and eastern coastal plains are known for coconut, especially the Kerala is known for spices, cashew, and all. Eastern and northeastern states, northeastern states are known for rice, especially they are also known for tea and jute cultivation. So based on this, we can divide into agroclimatic region. Then the most important topic in agriculture, that is green revolution. Green revolution is important for both Indian geography and Indian economy as well. So in you all know that in 1960s we have started this green revolution by the efforts of MS Swaminathan. So in order to increase our high productivity, government encouraged the farmers to use HYV seeds, irrigation provided, start to provide irrigation and fertilizer and pesticide. Okay, so this has dramatically increased our food grain production, especially wheat and rice, improved our food security, reduced our imports dependency, led to socio-economic changes in rural incomes. But on the other side, it has also impacted the soil salination. Okay, it has led to monocropping. Diversification of cropping pattern has come down. Okay, so these are the issues we are facing related to green revolution. So when you're talking about green revolution, you also talk about the positive and negative impact. Okay, so on the light of this topic, you can get a question from being a net food exporter in 1960s. India has emerged as a net food exporter to the world. So this is thanks to green revolution. So major part of this answer you have to address green revolution. Then irrigation, government policies, and all. Then recent trends in agriculture. Recent trends in agriculture. So yeah, now slowly we are able to see the diversification in crops. We are able to grow. The farmers are slowly growing on fruits, vegetables, and export based on requirement. They are growing that particular topic. People are moving towards organic farming. The precision farming is in news that farmers are now using drones with the support of GPS, GIS, remote sensing. Okay, and people are also focusing on sustainability. Yes, the scale, how it is growing is though it is less, but people are moving towards this sustainable agriculture. There is a demand for organic goods. Okay, people are thinking about soil inputs, biodiversity. Okay, government is also coming out the schemes like Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana focusing on drip irrigation, Pradhan Mantri Parampat Krishi program related to organic farming. Okay, PM Kisan giving them direct income subsidies. We have a mission called National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. All these are in sustainable farming practices. So these are the trends. And of course, in urban areas, in certain areas, they are also practicing the hydroponics, aeroponics aspects. Okay, so these are all trends in agriculture. These areas you need to be focused, especially drones in agriculture, AI technologies in agriculture. This can be a question in science and technology as well. Yeah. Next topic, the major irrigation projects and command area. So here you need to focus on the major irrigation projects of the country, the Bakra Nangal, Hirakud, Nagarjun Sagar, okay, the Satluj River Pocket, Bakra Nangal projects, and how they're so helping the command area. So command area is nothing but how much area is that project is able to cover in providing irrigation. So that is command area development program. Okay. So if you talk about Hirakud Dam, it is on Mahanadi River in Odisha. So it provides irrigation to Odisha and some parts of Andhra Pradesh. Similarly, you have the Bakranangal project on river Satluj in Punjab, helps in farmers of Punjab and Himachal Pradesh. So there are major projects like in India, there are 10 to 15 major projects. You should know where they are constructed and which areas they are helping in providing irrigation. That is one thing. Okay. Then industries. So here in industries topic, you have to cover major industries of India, that is iron and steel, textile, cement, sugar, automobile, IT, and food processing industries. So these are major industries in India. Iron and steel, textile, cement are traditional one, and in past 2 3 decades, we are running good in IT as well. So because of that, we having impact, socio-economic impacts in the country, society also. So these areas can also be a potential areas for framing a question. And most important thing in geography, that is industrial localization factors. Why particular industry is focused on that area, and what are the factors that are responsible for establishing industries in that region. This is a fundamental concept. So whenever you study about a particular major industry, you should also keep an eye on the factors responsible for establishing that industry in that particular place. Okay, I will be giving examples for you. Then you should also focus on the industrial corridors, the Chennai Bengaluru Industrial Corridor, Chennai Mumbai Industrial Corridor, Mumbai Chennai, Mumbai Delhi Industrial Corridor, Vizag Kolkata Industrial Corridor. So there are industrial corridors in the country, and what are their contribution in promoting job creation, reducing the regional disparities, reducing the internal migration, okay, and increasing the quality of life. So these aspects need to be covered. So whenever you talk about location factors, particular region, you should focus on raw material, availability of labor, market access, government policies, these things. For example, let me take example of iron and steel industries. Iron and steel industries are largely can be seen in Jharkhand, Orissa, West Bengal. Okay, these regions. Why? Because there is availability of coal mines in this region, and also iron ore. So since there is availability of raw material, many industries have come up in that region. And similarly, if you talk about cotton textile industries, the earlier cotton textile industries were focused in the Ahmedabad, Mumbai, that is the Gujarat, Maharashtra region. Why? Because Gujarat and Maharashtra regions are rich in black soil, so black soil suitable for crop production. Since there is raw material and humidity, since these regions are in coastal areas, especially Mumbai, Surat, so these areas developed into cotton textile industry. But thanks to the humidifiers and the railway network in the country, these cotton textile industries got diversified into other states also. Because of the railway network, cotton raw material was exported to the other areas within the state, within the country, and humidifiers, because of humidifiers, spinning mills were established. So whenever you talk about the location areas, you have to focus on raw material, labor, market access, and government policies. So through these points, you have to write the answer whenever you are talking about location factors. And when you are talking about industrial corridors help in infrastructure development, attract investments, and create employment opportunities. So in this slide, let us see some questions. So account for present location of iron and steel industries away from the source of raw material, giving examples. So give an account on iron and steel industry which are away from the source. If you take example of Japan do not have iron resource. They import iron from India. Marmagoa port is known for importing iron ore to Japan. But Japan has technology, work etiquette, They were able to produce iron and steel. They have strong transportation system, technology. So Yokohama, Osaka, these are all great industrial location regions. Okay. And people are also moving from establishing industries from source, near to the source, because near to the source of raw material, because minerals can become dry any day, right? They, because of we are doing over exploitation, and one day this raw material will end, and there will be no significance of establishing that industry in that region. So yeah, then moving on to what is the significance of industrial corridors in India? Identifying industrial corridors. So you need to draw a map of India, identify industrial corridors, and explain the main characteristics of that industrial corridor. Then petroleum refineries are not necessarily located near to the crude oil producing areas, particularly in many of the developing countries, explaining its impact implications. So once again, same question. India, there are many petroleum refineries in the country, but all these petroleum refineries are not close to the petroleum producing area. India is not a petroleum producer, right? So there is a petroleum refinery in Mathura. There is no resource there. But why we established? Because to reduce the regional disparities, address the issue of migration, okay, equal distribution of economic development. So we have established that. So yeah, so economically, when you focus on economical aspect, establishing the industry near to the raw material market is good economically. But sometimes to address the regional disparities, to help the region to grow for development activities, we sometimes establish industries far away from resource also, but if it is well connected. Okay. Now, since the questions nowadays they are also asking about food processing IT, so there can be a question. Discuss the factors for localization of agro-based food processing industry of Northwest India. Why agro-based industries are prospering in Northwest India? The reason is Northwest India is, we say, plains. They have good rainfall and support of irrigation. So they grow crops here which support food processing, and they have close to market also. Delhi, Gurgaon, Chandigarh, Kanpur. These are all high density areas where there is need for this food processing industry. So raw material, availability of market, and since the population is high, you have the cheap labor availability also, and irrigation and government policies. So this is what. Okay. Now, do you agree that there's a growing trend of opening of new sugar mills in southern states of India? Discuss with justification. So, especially the sugarcane is largely grown in Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, this region. Okay, and there were earlier many sugarcane mills in this region. Okay, but now slowly the sugarcane industries are more new sugar mills established in southern regions than in North India, because in southern India, sugarcane mills are established by cooperative societies. So when farmers are maintaining the thing, they generally sugarcane industries work for only 6 months, and rest of the 6 months there's no work, because you need sugarcane for producing this, and you cannot store sugarcane because of loss of the sucrose content in the sugarcane. So that's why in southern India, the cooperative farmers are establishing sugar mills. So they are efficiently managing with new technology and as well as the common resource. Yeah. Then analyze the factors of highly decentralized cotton textile industry. Why cotton textile is decentralized in India? Thanks to the transportation system and the humidifiers and demand through the country. Right. Next. ITA. What are the main socio-economic implications arising out of development of IT industries in major cities of India? So, what are the main socio-economic implications rising out of development of IT sectors? You know that IT industries are largely growing in India post 2000. Last 2 decades are golden age for IT sector in the country. Earlier, we were only dependent on BPOs, but now we are establishing our own firms, and now one of the great outsourcing country for the global IT sector companies. So because of this growth of IT industries, what are the main socio-economic implications we are seeing? So we are seeing a new middle class in the country because of this IT. which are high aspirational, educational oriented, and because of this, we are moving to more organized sector. So organized sector helps in savings. Savings will help in boosting growth. Okay. But the other hand, the system of family, joint family system, okay, individuality, the conflict between the family and work, all these things are getting affected. So especially this is more society question. Since it is industries, we need to address this question. Next, the growth of cities as IT hubs has opened up new avenues of employment, but also has also created new problems. So growth of cities of IT hubs opened for new avenues. Yes, employment growth has flourished. It's flourishing in the IT industry, but on the same line, it has created new problem. What is a major problem? So in IT employees, there is generally there is in World War context, there is a saying that when the countries like England catches the cold, the whole Europe get the sneeze. So similarly, because of the globalization, so if one country suffer from recession, then it will have a effect on the world global IT sector. So as a result, what happens? The employment will be at risk. There is no guarantee for the employment. One thing. Second, it will have a great impact on society. Okay. Now, these IT hubs are concentrated in urban areas. So urban areas will lead to the rapid urbanization, and once again, we'll have a problem of water resources, land scarcity, connectivity issues, and all sort of urbanization problems. Okay. Yeah. Next, moving on to the transportation. So means of road, rail, highways, and how they contribute to the economic development. So though they may not ask about the road and railway network issues, they may ask about the railway network or recent accidents in the upcoming these things, or impact of Vande Bharat trains or high-speed trains in the country. Or they may ask about highways or express, but there's very less chance. But high prospective area is the problems and prospects of inland water transport, inland navigation. This government is focusing on the inland water transports. Recently, they have started the Durga Vilas cruise ship from Varanasi to the Halia, that is in West Bengal. So there are 106 inland waterways in the country, official water policy. Most of them are in North India, in the Indo-Gangetic plains, most suitable for inland waters. So there can be a potential area of question. Then they may also ask about the bring out the socio-economic effects of introduction of railways in India. How socio-economic effects of introduction affecting railways in India? The first thing, of course, the railways were introduced by British in the country. They use it for importing the finished goods from Europe and exporting raw materials from the country, from the interland to ports and ports to England. But it also helped in us in integrating India. Okay, it was a spillover effect integrating the country. It also helped in leading the national movement, in people movement, growth of economic activity in the country, connecting the people of country, north to south. So given the latitudinal extent of the country, integrating the country was very difficult task, but railways have done great job in integrating internal migration in the country. Okay, and also having a prosperous effect on economic activity in trade and transportation. Yeah, so those are the points you need to address when you write the answer. How is efficient and affordable urban mass transport key to the rapid economic development of India? So how is efficient and affordable urban mass transport? Urban mass transport is nothing but your metros. Okay, MMTS. And in some cities where it is possible of inland navigation, they are also using the water metros, underwater marine metros. Okay, in Kolkata, in water metros, it is in Kochi. And like in Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, the cities are coming up with urban mass transport metros. How it is a key for rapid economic development? First and foremost thing, it will save the time of the employee and the company also. It will reduce the traffic in these cities. Okay, it is helpful in environment. Okay, reducing the carbon footprint, encouraging the mass transport. Okay, rapid movement within the city. So all these things help in the economic development of the country. Then moving on to the major ports. So you should get an idea related to the major ports in the country like Mumbai, Kochi, Trivandrum, Marmagova, okay, Jawaharlal Nehru port, the Visakhapatnam port. What are the main minerals that are exporting from that area? What we are getting, what you're importing from that ports? Okay, management of that ports. What are the private ports? What are the national ports? New ports which are coming up with. What is Sagarmala project? Okay, what is Bharatmala project for road transport? And you should also look into the changing trends and direction of India's trade and role of WTO. So how our trade is impacting about the import, what are the import exports, how it is importing our agriculture products, import and export in the context of WTO. So it is the common topic between geography and economy. Okay, we'll be detailed discussing about this in the test series topic. Then moving on to the last topic of our discussion, that is the strategic location. Last but one, I guess. Yeah, strategic location of India in Indian Ocean. So it is the most sensible topic in the syllabus and also the most dynamic one. Though we do not have international relations in our syllabus, but it is in the context of geospatial, geopolitical significance. Okay, so strategic location of India in Indian Ocean. So coming to the geopolitical significance, it is a gateway to major sea lines. Okay, the Strait of Hormuz, Strait of Malacca. So majority of oil trade cargo goes through this Indian Ocean. Okay, so this stability, regional stability and security in Indian Ocean is very much important for world trade and economy. You know what is happening in Strait of Hormuz because of Hamas. Okay, and you have a very narrow passage in Strait of Malacca, right? So regional stability and security in Indian Ocean is very important, and India's role in this is always great because we are right above the Indian Ocean. And of course, our islands, Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar, are in there. Coming to the economic significance, as I told you, the trade, commerce, natural resources, and energy security in this region also important. And then the military strategic assets, the naval power, the maritime dominance in this region, strategic partnership, alliance, SARC, BIMSTEC, okay, the Indian Ocean Rim Association, Seychelles, Mauritius, Maldives, they are very strategic partners for India. Okay, and you know the China is coming with the initiative called One Belt, One Road, and the string of perils in the Indian Ocean, and we are counter-attacking with the Diamond Harbor concept. We are investing in the ports of Iran recent one, the Chabar port. Okay, it is investing. China is investing in the Gwadar port. So much, many things are happening in this Indian Ocean region. So keep an eye and try to address whenever there is a question in this thing, try to address in holistic aspect, geospatial thing, in the economic aspect, military wise, and also write the points related to challenges and the consideration, right? How this competition and rivalry there between India and China, and also you should, whenever you write about answer, if there is scope of writing environmental and ecological concerns, you have to definitely write it because there is over exploitation of fishing problem, international cooperation with India and Sri Lanka in these fishing areas. Okay, uh, there is always a military exercise in this region. So these things need to be addressed in detail. Then moving on to the important topic, population, distribution, growth, demographic characteristic, demographic dividend and transition, HDI, population problems and policies. See, once again, this topic is common between India, geography and economy. Okay, first, population distribution in the country. So you have to focus on the areas where there is high dense population, high density, and you should also look at the aspects of them like sex ratio. What are the dominant states that are doing good in sex ratio? States which are doing uh, worst in sex ratio, and the states which are doing good in literacy rate, life expectancy rate. So these things should be keenly observed, and you have to collect the data and use them whenever there is a demand in the question. Then you should also be thorough of this concept called demographic dividend. What is demographic dividend? You know that India population is high between the age group between 25 to 40. See, the younger age population is high. So if you are able to develop the skill in this population, making them employable, then we can get the profit of demographic dividend, and thereby by 2047 we can get a dream of Viksit Bharat. If this 20 to 30, 45, 40 age group of large chunk of population of the country is not trained, then we are sitting under a bomb. Okay, so in order to use this demographic dividend, you have to focus on skill development. So that's why we are coming with the program called Pradhan Mantri Kausal Vikas Yojana, getting people into organized sector. Okay, these things are getting them bank accounts, giving them mudra loans to the women. Okay, encouraging the startup India, stand up India. These are all to get benefit of the demographic dividend. Then you have to focus on HDI, Human Development Index, the aspects like literacy rate, life expectancy rate, okay, the per capita income. These things you should know between the comparison between the states. You have to focus on the Niti Aayog reports, okay, reports related to aspirational districts and the regional disparities within the country. Then the population problems and policies. What are the problems with overpopulation? Why the population of the country is increasing? Is it growing any definite trends of decreasing or increasing population? What are the government policies? Okay, so these things we should focus on. And we should also focus on the sensitive institute, right? Why sex ratio in the country is decreasing? What is prenatal sex determination? Okay, these things need to be addressed. Then the last topic of our Indian geography syllabus, that is urbanization process, spatial pattern, growth of megacities, problems of urban growth, and policies, concept of smart cities. So first thing you have to address what are the problems of urbanization. So through the session we are focusing on urban floods. It's an urbanization problem. Rapid urbanization growth, connectivity issues, okay, lack of resources, proper infrastructure. These are all urbanization problems. The concept of smart cities. What is the concept of smart cities? Are our cities really smart in doing efficiently managing the water resources, water supply, electricity, connectivity? Are we using this so-called Internet of Things, artificial intelligence in effectively managing this city's administration? Okay, these things comes under the smart cities. So in this slide, you can get questions like, right, with a brief background of quality of urban life in India, introduce the objectives and strategies of smart city program. So what are the objectives of smart city program? What are aims? What are the bottlenecks we are facing? And what are the measures that government is coming up with to address this issue and suggestive measures from your side? Okay. Then major cities of India are becoming vulnerable to flood conditions. We already discussed, right? Why cities are becoming flooded. Though the cities which are like Hyderabad, Pune, they receive more less than 100 centimeters of rainfall, but they're getting flooded in the rainy season. What are the issues? Why the cities are facing this? Just now, in the earlier part of the session, we have discussed that encroachment of water bodies, concrete construction, lack of water sinking pits within the households and also in the free space areas, lack of proper drainage. The drainage system of Hyderabad is 400 years old. Now the population has increased because of the rapid urbanization. The drainage system is not able to provide proper water system, and mm, when it rains normal to heavy, it leads to floods because water flows on the roads. So these things we should collect the issues with. So when you're talking about the urban thing, you have to mention about the issues like the all the cities, not just a Hyderabad problem. So most of the problem is most of them are common, but when addressing the specific thing, you have to focus on this. For when you're talking about Hyderabad, you can use the example of Musi. Because of clogging of Musi River, also you are facing this thing. So the government of Telangana has come up with a plan. They're in talks with the London Port Authority in addressing the problem of Musi. So current events should also be mentioned in the answers. Okay. So this is about the Indian geography syllabus for the upcoming TGPSC mains. Okay, it's been around a 1.5 hours, 120 minute session exclusively dedicated to Indian geography. I hope you have got a broad picture over the syllabus. Okay, this is how we are going to cover each topic in detail in the upcoming test series. Okay, for each topic, we'll be discussing all the prospective questions. Each question will be in holistic manner so that around Indian geography, we'll be discussing around 30 to 40 questions. And in each question, we'll try to cover the holistic aspects of the topic so that if any question comes in the examination, we'll make sure that you'll able to write the points, standard points for that examination. So for this, we'll be providing you the maps, model answers, okay, structures, flowcharts. Questions are prepared by the subject experts and they are also evaluated the same subject expert, and we'll be providing the key to you and also explanation video for that. Okay. So if you are interested, you can take full course of the test series for all the 6 papers, or if let's say if you are weak in geography, you can take a separate model for Indian geography and Telangana geography at our course. Okay, and schedule is very flexible. According to your preparation plan, you can write test. Okay, though we have a schedule, it is general schedule, but you can also write answers. If say you are starting your preparation in geography, you can write answers first. In other institutes, what they do is they'll have a standard schedule and they'll follow the schedule. Though you are good at some topics, let's say if you are weak at movement, if the movement question test series is at the end of the session, end of the near to the examination, there is a high chance that students may get panic. But here we are providing the flexible thing here. Okay, so I hope this session was fruitful. If you have any doubts, you can please feel free to drop me a mail to Ankit Reddy, ANKITHREDDY, then once again yltvar@gmail.com. Okay, and for basic fundamental videos related to Indian geography and Telangana geography, you can follow my YouTube channel, Shikara Academy. So we have Telegram channel. Okay, link is in the YouTube channel description. Okay, thank you. We'll meet in the next session where we'll be discussing the Telangana geography topics.